Hello again, Reverend here, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the key switches and articulations available in ample sound acoustic guitars. And first up, I want to mention that there should be in this track delay parameter of your audio output, there should be a value of minus 50 milliseconds, and that's in Nuendo and Cubase. In Logic and Studio One, it's called delay. In Pro Tools, you have to use track start, and in Sonar, it's the time plus parameter. You'll also notice that both my little demo tracks here are starting at measure 2. If I started at measure 1, there wouldn't be any time for this little offset, so it's a good idea to consider starting your song at measure 2. First up, the pop articulation. You'll see here 2 notes. The second one's going to pop. 2 notes here. The second one's going to pop. Okay, let's look at how that was achieved. First of all, you'll see the C0 key switch, and I'm going to show you that here on the tooltip. The C0 puts us in the sustain mode, and the pop articulation is available in the sustain mode. Next up, you'll notice that the velocity is different. The pitch is the same, everything else about the note is the same except the velocity, and when I click it, the velocity in Cubase is shown up here. And if you want to make the note pop, you need a velocity of 127, and that's all there is to it. So this first one will sound normal because it's not 127, and this one will pop because it is. That's all there is to the pop articulation. Next up, natural harmonics. And the key switch used for natural harmonics is, as you can see on the left on the keyboard display, it's a C#0, and it's also displayed up here. And I'm going to go and point it out. There it is, natural harmonics on C#0. Now, if you were playing harmonics in the context of a song, everything that follows this key switch, the software would try to play all the following notes as harmonics. So you would want to switch back to C0 to bring the instrument back into the sustain mode. Next up along here we have 4 groups of 3 notes and a palm muting key switch. The palm muting key switch is shown by D0 here, and I'll point that out one more time. You've got the tooltip on the key, so you don't have to look it up in the manual. And these 4 groups have different colors, and you'll see there are different velocity levels. I'm just going to play that for you. Well, you might be thinking that the successively lower velocity levels are simply turning down this sample set. That's not quite true. This sample set here is completely different to the next one and completely different to the next one, and we're using velocity to call the different sample sets. So you have 4 layers of palm muting. And once again, if you wanted to get out of palm muting, you would go back to the sustain mode or whatever other mode you choose by putting the appropriate key switch at the end of the passage, or at least after the beginning of the last note. Next up, we have a slide. This is the slide key switch, and you'll see that it's a D#0. And what you're going to hear is a slide here, and as soon as the note ends, it will automatically change back to the sustain mode, and this note will not slide. And here's 2 notes. So this is a cool feature because when you're playing, when you play a slide, you usually slide in from below and continue to play normally. You don't usually want to slide and then slide again. So it's very convenient to have this automatically switch back for you. This is the capo man. That is a value of C-sharp 1, and that tells the instrument that we're going to have a capo, and this sets the position of the capo. That's why these two are present. So once again, we got the we're inserting a capo at this position, and down here we're asking for a slide on the first note. Okay, now I have a demonstration of a slide. I just want to make sure I'm back in the default mode for this, and it's the classic Stairway to Heaven. I'm going to unmute it, and you'll be looking for the slide about here. And further on, at the very end, I'm going to let it play through to the end of the intro. You'll be looking for this, because I want to talk a little bit about the body sounds and the knocks, scratches, scrapes, and taps that you can use in your music. Right. I pointed out this one here, which is, it's a scratch noise. It's a little bit lost right in the middle there, but it just gives you a hint of finger movement. It's a string squeak. And this one here is one of the many ways you can terminate ringing sounds. I'm just going to duck out to the instrument, and you'll see them here in this range of blue keys and these blue keys here. So first we have a scratch or string squeak, and then a slap, and then you terminate ringing strings with silence by pressing, and here with a muted stroke, and then there are 2 downstrokes and 2 upstrokes. Now these, when you're using a mouse on these keys, they respond to velocity. The further towards this region of the keyboard, the lower the velocity and the corresponding sample. Over here, we have a hit on the top, and muted hit, and here hit on the rim. Right, so these are different ways you can spice up the composition and add realism. These are ways you can terminate ringing sounds, and they are also some of the things you will use when creating your own strum patterns. These are these little articulations. As you can see, there are 14 slots available for all the different strum articulations, so that's where they come into their own in the strummer mode. Right, in this file I have a little classical piece, and you can see I've got the AGL loaded, and that's the Alhambra Luthier classical guitar by Amplisound. And I want to show some harmonics in context of a little classical piece here. You can see here there are a couple of key switches. They're well off the range of the instrument. That's how you can spot them easily. In the data, oops, I flipped right past it. There it is. You can see that this is a C-sharp 0 giving me harmonics. And then here I have a C0 bringing me back to sustain. And if you're not sure, you can always look on the keys. So these notes that follow, there's the harmonic key switch. These notes that follow the key switch will be played as harmonics, and then you switch back to normal mode. From here to there, everything that follows the sustain key switch is played in normal mode, sustain. And once again, harmonics here and once again off. So listen for that as we go. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this piece, and while you listen to the Alhambra luthier classical guitar, I will demonstrate some of the controls, and with that, I will leave you, and once again, thanks for listening.